Good morning, Marijuana Nation. It's Thursday, September 21st, 2017, and you're tuned in to episode 335 of Marijuana Today Daily. I'm your host, Shay Gunther, and I'll be walking you through today's marijuana news and headlines. As always, we have a full and busy day of cannabis news in our hands, so let's jump right into it. Our top story of the day is the news that U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions still thinks marijuana should be illegal. Maybe not particularly shocking news, but a nice reminder of what we're up against, as the AG took the opportunity yesterday to remind the world of his outdated thinking on cannabis during a press conference given by the U.S. Coast Guard. Retreading on comments he made earlier in the year, Sessions said, when asked about California's efforts to legalize adult use marijuana, quote, "I've never felt that we should legalize marijuana. It doesn't strike me that the country would be better if it's being sold on every street corner," unquote. Sessions later went on to cherry-pick some stats on the percentage of adults using marijuana to back up his groundless beliefs. Tom Angel over at Forbes has a good piece looking at the cannabis conversion U.S. Senator Al Franken seems to be in the middle of, with the Minnesota lawmaker just having put his name down as a co-sponsor of a proposed bill to loosen financial laws governing state legal marijuana business owners, making it the second cannabis bill in as many days he's attached himself to, with him becoming a co-sponsor of a bill just the day before to free up banks to extend services to the marijuana industry. As Tom's reporting, this represents a bit of a change in the senator's view on cannabis, as just last year he said during a BuzzFeed podcast that he wasn't really engaged with the issue. Swing over to Tom's piece for the rest of the details on this one. As always, we have all the news we cover linked to on our website at mjtodaydaily.com and on our Twitter account at mjtodaydaily. Our final top story of the day brings us up north to Canada, where the provincial government of Ontario has floated a target price for how much legal cannabis will cost in their government-run dispensaries once they start opening up next year. Ontario Financial Minister Charles Sousa said that government-run shops should be selling marijuana for around $10 a gram, saying that the goal was to install consistent pricing across the nation. There's likely to be nearly just as much blowback from that decision as there was originally to the announcement that private operators would be locked out of the industry. We'll report back on this one as it evolves. Those are our top stories for today. It's time for Marijuana Today Daily Headlines Blitz. Before we blitz out on headlines, let's quickly thank our sponsor, MJ Today Media, your go-to source for all the legal marijuana news and analysis you need to stay on top of this dynamic industry of ours. We're more than just links and headlines, though. When you listen and subscribe to MJ Today Media products, you get all the news in the right context that allow you to turn data and information into knowledge and wisdom, which is where all the really smart decisions usually come from. Solidify your position atop the hierarchy of cannabis industry understanding by listening to MJ Today Media podcasts and subscribing to our email newsletters. To find links to all the things we're up to, just open up mjtodaymedia.com. That's mjtodaymedia.com. All right, time for the blitz. Death and Taxes magazine has a good piece up about Roger Stone, white supremacist, misogynist, and Donald Trump pal, who has most recently crawled his way into the marijuana news cycle by being booted from his keynote speaking spot at the recent Cannabis World Congress and Business Expo, mostly for being a white supremacist and misogynist. Death and Taxes sent a reporter to the so-called rally Stone called for in protest of his ouster, which took place near where the Congress and Expo was being held. From the sounds of it, it was a sad, bitter party where Stone mostly talked at a very small group of attendees while dressed up like Gordon Gekko. I think Tostin Burke's headline summed it up perfectly. Quote, "Roger Stone is desperate for people to know he wants to legalize weed," unquote. The Las Vegas Strip is about to get its first marijuana dispensary open 24 hours a day, as the city council voted yesterday to allow dispensaries in South Las Vegas to keep their doors open all day and all night long. While there are already dispensaries open 24/7 in North Las Vegas, this marks the first time marijuana shops near the famous Strip will be able to do the same. Voters in Utah are hugely in favor of allowing for the use of medical marijuana, according to a new poll conducted by utahpolicy.com, which found that 3 out of 4 voters of age in the state were pro-medical marijuana. While that might not seem out of place in the context of a nationwide approval rating for medical cannabis somewhere in the 90s percentage, it is striking in Utah because the Mormon church is firmly against medical marijuana. And there are a lot of people in Utah that take direction for their political and social views from the church. The poll was conducted in the background of an effort in the state to put a ballot initiative before voters in 2018 to legalize medical marijuana. This is an excellent one to open up for the rest of the story. A judge in Kentucky upheld a ban in his state on legalizing medical marijuana, saying authorities were justified in their work to, quote, curtail citizens' possession of a narcotic hallucinogenic drug, unquote. Marijuana, by the way, is actually neither of those things. Regardless, Franklin County Circuit Judge Thomas Wingate ruled against a case brought by medical patients frustrated by their inability to legally use their medicine of choice. The plaintiffs in the case say they will be assessing things before deciding on whether to file an appeal. We'll report back on this one if anything interesting comes of it. A lawmaker in California thinks that the California Highway Patrol is the best agency in the state to take on the fight against illicit marijuana growers and producers. Assemblyman Tom Lackey wants the CHP to handle all post-legalization marijuana police work and said he will be introducing a bill in the next state legislative session to do so. There's a bit of a kerfuffle a-brewing in Pennsylvania as the state is caught up in some controversy over the way it handled applications to become licensed medical marijuana business operators. The specifics of the story center around the state's decision to allow applicants to self-redact information on their application forms, leading to some applications being mostly unreadable in terms of finding useful information, with one application going as far as to black out the names of the company applying for license. Penn Live's story picks up on a request the newspaper made to the state for unredacted copies of some of the applications, a process the state said will take over 2 years to complete. This is another good one to dive into fully. And finally for today, in a sign of the attractiveness of making money, a large convenience store operator in Canada said they want to sell cannabis in their stores. Circle K owner Couch Tard said their experience handling tobacco sales makes them uniquely positioned to play a part in the legal marijuana industry. Company CEO Brian Hanish told reporters of their interest earlier this week after their annual company meeting in Montreal. Those are the headlines and news for the day. I'll be back with you again tomorrow morning with another information-packed episode of Marijuana Today Daily. But in the meantime, if you have any stories to share or feedback to give, zip us an email to headlines@mjtodaydaily.com. And while you're clicking around the interwebs, swing over to our Twitter account at mjtodaydaily and visit our website at mjtodaydaily.com to find links to all the news we cover. Thanks to our sponsor, MJ Today Media, and to all of our awesome Patreon listeners for the support that makes this show possible. To join the illustrious ranks of the Patreon listeners yourself, swing over to our website at mjtodaydaily.com and click on that big blue button at the top of the page that says Become a Patron. I'm your host, Shay Gunther. Thanks for tuning in and starting your day with marijuana today.
One take, Shay. One take.